All right, team Morning Manna, here we are, rocking and rolling on day 2 as we talk about what do we do and what do we not do? Do's and don'ts, 6 do's and don'ts of living in the gap. And the gap, of course, is that gap between what you hope for, what you believe is the promise of God, that place of your inheritance, what you're seeking God for, and it's actually coming to fruition in your life. And so we're learning lessons from the life of Abraham, the places he was successful, the places he did well as he waited, and then in the places where he failed and where we can learn from his example and don't do that thing. But we're still on the good side. This is the do's. So do number 2 of living in the gap is worship while you wait. I think it's one of those really interesting things about Abram's life is God says, hey, I'm going to take you to this place of promise, and then I'm going to give you offspring, a heritage, a lineage. And Abram is waiting for that, hoping for that. For those of you scoring at home, it is a 25-year gap between when God says to Abram and Sarai, later Abraham and Sarah, you're going to have a son who's going to be the bearer of the promise, who is going to be the one who builds this lineage. 25 years, that's a long time to wait. But what you'll watch, what you'll see in Abram's life is when he takes the time to go out and meet with God. And that's what I'm calling worship. Yes, it's worshiping on a Sunday morning as you gather together corporately, but also in your quiet time, also with your word, also in what you're doing right now. Take the time to show up with God, even when you're like, I haven't gotten what I waited for yet. Worship while you wait. God is always speaking to your spirit, but we hear him when we show up to hear. It's amazing to me. God is patiently ministering to our hearts, and he's ready to tell us what we need to hear and give us the grace for today. His mercies are new every day. The question is, are we opening our ears? Opening our ears to hear? Are we availing ourselves of the opportunity to come into his presence and receive his ministry? And you'll see over and over, that's what Abram does. Even while he's waiting, even when he can't understand it, even when it feels painful, even when it's not working out, Abram shows up to hear from God. And you know what God does? All through those 25 years, God shows up to speak to him. And God will show up to speak to you too. God bless you. Have a great, great day.